everyone, it's Caitlyn here. If you're new to my channel, welcome, and I do encourage you to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notifications so you don't miss any future uploads. Today's video is 31 weeks Twin Tuesday, or Twin Wednesday. I was supposed to have it yesterday, but I was just so tired. I needed an afternoon nap really bad. So I'm gonna start this video talking to you guys a little bit about why I didn't have my Twin Tuesday video for 30 weeks. So Matthew came over because I wanted him to be here for the growth ultrasound and everything to see the babies. And that day I was not feeling good at all. Like, my tummy hurt, I was nauseous, I couldn't focus on anything. I was just having a really bad time. And so got back after my growth ultrasound, laid in bed, and they hooked me up to an NST, and then they were starting to pick up contractions. So at 30 weeks, 3 days, I was contracting and very uncomfortable, so they decided to check me, and I was 1 to 2 centimeters dilated at about 1 p.m. And the contractions kept happening. They weren't like painful contractions, it's just they knocked the wind out of me and I just had to breathe through them. So they were more a nuisance and uncomfortable than painful. Then they checked my dilation again at about 2 or 3 o'clock, and I was at 3 to 4. And then they checked me again at about 5 p.m. and I was a 5 centimeters dilated, and the baby was there. So they wheeled me down, right down the hall, straight to labor and delivery for further observation, and because babies were coming. I was 5 centimeters dilated, I was contracting, I was just having a terrible time. And as soon as we got in there, I continued to contract, or they said were contractions, but they didn't feel like contractions. I just had to breathe through them, because it knocked the wind out of me, that was it. And then I was thinking, well, I'm already in labor, so might as well get the epidural because they're gonna get more painful and more strong. And so I got the epidural just in case they got unbearable and I couldn't get the epidural later on. And then I was telling everyone, I was like, it's not time yet, like, these babies aren't coming. And everyone's looking at me like I've got 3 heads saying, yes, they're coming, you're 5 centimeters dilated, it's happening right now. And I was just in disbelief, I was having denial, and I was like, nope, babies aren't coming. I'm gonna be back down in my antenatal room tomorrow and everything's gonna be fine, babies are gonna stay in. And everyone's laughing at me, they're like, no, it's happening, it's okay, Caitlyn, like, you're gonna have these babies, we're getting me prepped, all of that stuff. Told them I wanted vaginal delivery, all of that stuff. So things were happening apparently. And then 24 hours later, the contractions stopped and I was still at 5 centimeters. So I am pretty sure that I willpowered or K-powered, as I'd say, myself into stopping my labor. So a little over 24 hours of contracting and being 0 to 5 centimeters, I am now finally back in my antenatal room, sitting at 5 centimeters dilated, and I told everyone it wasn't happening. No one wanted to believe me, but here I am, and yeah, babies are still cooking. I'm 31 weeks and 3 days pregnant. Little scare last week of them possibly coming, but I forced myself to stop my labor, and here I am. So I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit about the development of the twins at 31 weeks and how I'm feeling and all of that stuff. And I do apologize for not having the video up earlier last week for you, letting you know what happened, but nothing was happening. I'm back here, so it's all good. I wasn't having babies. I wasn't going into full-blown labor and pooping them out. I'm here, so it wasn't that big of a deal. So, well, it's a big enough deal that Matt has moved in with me. Since last Wednesday, he's been here because they could come anytime, but who knows, it could be a week from now, could be hours from now. It's just all unpredictable because of how dilated I am and how irritable my uterus is with the mini contractions. So who knows, but I'm hoping they can stay in as long as they can. Now I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit about their growth and their weights and all that stuff. I don't have another growth ultrasound until next week, so I don't know their actual weights from like the growth ultrasound. I'm just going by the app. So the growth of the babies at 31 weeks. The onset of 31-week pregnancy might awaken most women from their rapture of the initial stages and put them in an alert stage of making sure that they get the end part right. Similarly, your babies inside would be highly active now and alert to their surroundings. They definitely move a bunch. Like, if one kicks, the other starts kicking, and it's just a battle back and forth. The sensory perception is at its peak. Nearly all the senses present in the body have initiated their functioning, giving your children a good level of awareness. While they might already be sensing the presence of light and turning around to face the darkness when they need to sleep, this will also be paired with a better understanding of your voice. Eating certain food items might get them all riled up and excited, and they would also be experiencing certain emotions as a result of it. Rarely are any of these perceptions distinct enough to form a memory or a place for a recall, but all these signals end up stimulating the brain and test its functioning. When tracking the kick counts of your little ones, you would be able to establish a rough schedule of sorts, getting a better idea of when your babies prefer to sleep and when do they turn your uterus into their playground. This is extremely essential for doctors as well, so that they can establish a benchmark for normalcy in children. In their active periods, babies also experimenting with their limbs and practicing their grip, which will soon be enveloping around your pinky finger. So, in case of male babies, the scrotal sac usually finishes its development around this week, and the testicles begin descending into it rapidly. By the time your babies are born, the testicles should be fully descended, which would also be checked by the doctor. Any presence of cryptochitism, I'm not sure that word, where the testicles fail to fully descend would be detected only after birth. Now, as you guys know, we don't know the genders, so that part isn't really important until we know. So what is the size of the babies? So according to this, all the previous weeks of fat development will begin to show its benefit around this week, with a good layer of deposits having occurred throughout the skin will be quite smoother than before, as well as stretched to a pretty good degree. Those fat deposits will also be responsible for increasing the weight of the babies, putting them somewhere in the range of 1.3 to 1.5 kilograms. So last week at their growth ultrasound, they measured 4.1 pounds and 4.2 pounds. So only like half, like maybe 1 ounce, obviously 1 ounce difference between them. So I've got little chunkers in my belly, which is awesome. Like, I want them to be fat in case they come early and they don't have as many problems, but I definitely feel it in my uterus and my hips. Like, it's heavy there. Common bodily changes. Your body will be pushed into yet another state of its own as it begins to come to terms with the different degree of changes taking place within it. Right from an increase in weight to the changes in biochemistry, the body will display all of them to you. So the beginning of this pregnancy, I started out at 160, and right now I weighed myself when I was like at the end of the day full yesterday, so I'm not completely sure on my exact weight, but the other day I was 178. So I've gained about 19 pounds-ish, so that's good so far in the pregnancy. But since I've been admitted to the hospital back at 24 weeks, I was admitted at 178 and 177, and 7 weeks later I'm only 178, so it's kind of worrisome that like I haven't gained that much. But obviously the babies are getting what they need from me, so I'm like feeling scrawny and skeleton like, but my belly is huge and the babies are huge, so that is the most important thing. I try to eat as much as I can so that they grow big and fat, and hopefully it all works out. But back to this. So tummy will begin to grow rapidly. The chances of survival will increase because I'm getting close to the 32-week mark. Symptoms of 31 weeks are, of course, constipation. That's no joke. Pain in your hips, like aches and pains, which are definite now because I'm in active labor. So baby A's head is right down in my pelvis. So when I walk, I can feel my hips clicking and I have to take it slow. It's very painful. My bladder and my boobs. So my boobs haven't started leaking any extra. My bladder, I go regularly, like not any more than I used to. I think I peed the most constantly in the first trimester, and then it settled out to just normal, where I would pee every couple, whatever, but nothing too crazy. Now, twin pregnancy, belly at 31 weeks. So I don't have a video of my belly at 30 weeks because of the whole fiasco that went on, but I do have a photo of my belly at 30 weeks when Jack was here, so I will show you that right there. So there's my belly at 30 weeks pregnant, and I will show you now a video of my belly at 31 weeks pregnant. So not much of a difference, but we're getting there. I really hope you guys enjoyed this Twin Tuesdays video for 31 weeks pregnant. I'm sorry that I didn't get last week's episode up, obvious reasons of going into labor and then labor holding on, but now I have made it a full week and they're still cooking, so that is super exciting. I hope I went over everything. If I didn't, comment down below and let me know any questions that you might have and I'll respond directly. But yeah, until next time, stay beautiful, okay?